Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Ain't That Something? And we are cooking tonight with this episode, okay? This episode is about understanding that you don't need a man, right? We talked about that in the last conversation. We don't necessarily have to have this man, but for those of us that are on a journey to align ourselves to meeting that man. We're doing all of the work. We're getting to that place where, we want to connect and build with someone. We need to know how to keep them. Okay. And it's so funny that I have this conversation because I just feel like that sometimes is the biggest insult to black women. Like, oh, you can get a man, but can you keep him? You know, and I'm here to tell everybody, yes, we definitely can. And how that looks is determined by a number of factors, right? It's determined by, of course, how you feel about yourself and your confidence and, your level of positivity and love for yourself, along with the type of man that you are being with, and also the level of, are you respecting, of each other? Are you in a relationship where someone is choosing to be with you repeatedly? They see you, they talk to you, and they're like, yes, this is the person that I want to be with. And so how do we get to that point? How do we align ourselves for this? Guys, it is some work. I'm going to tell you right now. Like, my experience in this, past year of meeting someone and really going through stages of the relationship growing, I can tell you right now, it's not an easy feat because from the outside surface, it looks one way versus the decisions that you are making constantly when you're with someone. And if you truly love the person that you're with, you truly like the person that you with, because honestly, I think like is bigger than love, but that's another topic. But if you truly like them and you have respect for them, what I'm about to say to you guys is going to be so easy to do. It's not going to feel like, oh my God, I have to do what? I have to say what? I have to who? Because you already like the person. You already are in love with the person. That you guys have been through something in life that has drawn you so close that your level of respect for that person is so strong that when it comes to considering them for different things, it's kind of a no-brainer. But it's still challenging because we're still human and no one is perfect. And you're going to have the feelings that you're going to have, but how do you work through those feelings that you're feeling without insulting, belittling, disrespecting the person that you're with, that you say you love, right? So let's talk about relationship intelligence. Whew. That in itself is just so loaded because when we go to school and we learn, our intelligence builds, right? So the more we learn, the more experiences, the more mistakes that we learn from, our intelligence is growing with that in the aspect. The more we read about, we practice, someone shows, demonstrates for us, That builds our level of intelligence, how much we know. So, relationship intelligence, the same way that you're learning how to do certain things and building that that title of intelligence, it has to be done in a relationship. So you have to learn from your previous relationships of how you're going to be in the current relationship that you're in, or how to be ready for that. So, number 1, this one is so simple but so hard. Active listening. Active listening is where you are truly engaged in what the other person is saying. You're taking note of what is important to them. And somewhere in your brain, you are collecting that data about the person that you're with, right? And when you listen to them, not just on the things that they like or they do or all of that, but like you're listening with an ear of concern and compassion and um intention, right? You want to know as much as you want to know about them. And so let's put it in perspective. um you and the person that you're with, you guys are getting into an argument or disagreement, and it all resolved from you mishearing what they said. And once you realize that you misheard them, you read the text message wrong, um you didn't see their text message, whatever it is, right? um they are talking to you about it or confronting you about it, and your natural response is to be defensive. Like, who are you talking to like this? So on, so on. The argument continues to grow, and now you're upset with each other. When you have relationship intelligence, you are listening without being defensive. You're hearing that person all the way through. You're hearing them out. You're taking in what they're saying and considering them, because you want to get to the bottom of what's going on. And once you hear them out, then hey, you guys can work on what is next in that conversation. How are we going to resolve it? How are we going to move forward from it? Or, are we clear on not letting that conversation happen again because it made the other person feel a certain way? I've been in a situation like that before where I was very honest. I didn't mean any harm to what I was responding, but I just said it. I just said, what I felt honestly, and I wasn't in no means trying to offend or disrespect, but the person I'm with didn't like it, and they became offensive. They became offended of what I said. But of course I didn't necessarily mean it, but I was just kind of answering in a very honest way. And so, you know, I realized I hurt that person's feelings, and I realized how important it was of a topic that I was like, "Okay, I get it. I'm so sorry." Like, I hear you. I wouldn't say that again, and now I understand you a little bit more. But you have some people who, because they're listening with a defensive ear, they will have so much pride that they can't apologize or that they refuse to apologize. And so, therefore, the conversation never gets truly resolved. And what tends to happen months later is that it's going to come back up because it never got resolved. It never was, you know, adjourned at that moment. So when you have that listening ear and you're not being defensive, you're able to proactively prevent a lot of headache with disagreements. Just listen. You don't always have to respond. You don't always have to have a defense, you know, rebuttal. Just hear them out, right? Um, and that apologizing part, like, there's so many people that don't want to apologize. And that comes from when you were a kid. When somebody told you, tell such and such you're sorry. And you're like, I don't want to tell them I'm sorry because I'm really not sorry. Like, they deserve what I said to them. But you have to remember you're not a child anymore. You're an adult. And that feeling when you were a child, when you didn't want to do something that somebody told you to do, you didn't want to apologize to the girl you called a name or your brother or whoever, that's ego. That's your ego. That feeling that you get, that kind of like, I ain't doing it. That's your ego. And the sad thing is your child ego. Okay. It's from when you were a kid. So you could be someone up in your 40s and someone triggered that ego and you're going to turn straight up into a child. Your response is going to very much be that initial child response. I ain't got to do that. I ain't responded. I'm petty and pretty as AF. But if we want relationships to not be an endless cycle of stopping and going, then we have to really understand what ego is and what it makes us feel, and we have to be able to tame it. We have to tame our egos, right? Don't let your egos get in the way. Be the bigger person. Some people say, I'm tired of being a bigger person. I'm always the bigger person. That's a flex. In my opinion, if you're always the bigger person, then that means you're wise. That means you're patient. That means that you don't let the small stuff bother you. There's too many bigger stressors in the world, in life, right? And if you are always the bigger person, you say those little things, I'm not going to let them bother me. I'm not going to let them, you know, cause me any real worry and burden. All right. This is a good one. Expressing your needs clearly. Clearly expressing them. Why do I say it like that? Because there are so many people who do not tell the other person that they're with what they need. And the person that they're with, they don't want to tell them what they need because that person is not listening. It's just what we said in the beginning. So, if we want this back and forth positive relationship, we have to engage ourselves mutually. You have to listen to them. You have to put your ego aside. They have to listen to you and they have to put their ego aside. And you both have to express yourself clearly. That situation that I just explained that I had where I said something and it made, the person I'm with feel a certain way. I wouldn't have known he felt that way if he never said anything. If he just laughed it off or if he just kind of, got an attitude and walked away, I wouldn't know. And guess what? I probably would do it again or joke around with it again. And that next time, it may not be, a good outcome. So you have to express what you're feeling. And please, please don't express stuff while you're drinking because when it's At that point where you've got all this that's been on your mind, and you've been drinking a few little mimosas, you've been out and about at a brunch, and you come back home or you call up the person you're dating and you start, ugh, letting it all out about all of this, who knows what, friend, that ain't it. That's not the way to go. It needs to be expressed in a sober manner where you have some control and you're able to express your feelings for this person in a respectful way so that they can hear you. Like, it is what it is. And expressing your needs, like what you need from that person. Because again, if they can't read your mind, I'm sorry, if you can't read their mind, they definitely can't read yours. So if you are doing the dishes and while you're doing the dishes, you're like, dang, I cooked, I pre-cleaned the kitchen before I cooked, and now I'm cooking the dishes. Everybody done ate. I had to eat my food last. It was cold, had to warm it up. You need to express what it is that you need. If you need him to help you with the dishes or prep in the kitchen, then just say it, right? But of course, we're not saying it in a demanding way. We're not saying it in a disrespectful way, but you know, let that be some of the things that you're talking about. Like, hey, you know, I enjoy cooking for you, but if I cook and it's been a long day, I need I need your help. Can you do the dishes for me? Can you help me clean the kitchen? Right? Because sometimes people will sit there and just be like, well, since I cooked, you should automatically clean up. No, he probably didn't grow up like that. Or she probably didn't grow up like that. Like she might have grew up in a situation where, hey, whoever is cooking is cleaning. But whatever it is, it needs to be communicated, right? It needs to be communicated. You need to set those boundaries early and early enough in the relationship so that you understand each other. You need to have those conversations. Like, just get a feel for how this person feels, right? Is it is it too far-fetched to have those type of conversations? Like those are the conversations that you need to get down to the nitty-gritty. Like, hey, are you kind of a traditional guy? Do you think that, the men should help do this? Just whatever is important to you. Don't take it for granted that everybody knows that. Don't take it for granted that it's universal because sometimes it's not. And you can have a great relationship and it end because you're not telling the person what you need, right? The person is doing things that they think you might like, okay? But they're not giving you exactly what you need because you're not telling them. You might be the type that's like, oh my gosh, every year he gets me these same flowers. I don't want flowers. I, want to go on a hike and I want to go, on a little trip or something. Tell the man. Like tell him what you need. That way he's not thinking that you just like this because that's not going to last, you know? But you can very much be like, "Oh my gosh, I love these flowers so much. But I was thinking next year, can we do this? Or I had this idea, whatever. Switch it up. Just tell people what you need. Okay? That's really the most important. If you don't tell them what you need, they're not going to get it. They're not going to get your hints. They're not going to get your subtle attitude. They're not going to understand what you're doing. You have to be explicit and tell the person what it is that you want, And so It's so important for all of these things to stay under the umbrella of respect. Your tone in which you talk to them. Are you doing it in the public eye where you're embarrassing them? Or is it something that y'all talk about amongst yourselves? Right? Um, are you telling all your friends your business? Like, women, we, you know, that it's in our nature. We are going to express ourselves and talk to, our closest friends and things about stuff that's going on, but you don't have to express everything. You don't have to discuss every little thing that is going on in your relationship, because that unfortunately can, you know, be detrimental to your relationship. So be careful who you're talking to, right? And my next favorite thing, submission. Oh boy. Are you submissive? Do you know what submissive means? That's a different conversation. But no, seriously, submissive. I'm going to put it to you like this. I think submission is a beautiful thing, but I can't be submissive to someone that I don't respect. So if you don't respect someone that you're with, it's going to be extremely hard to be submissive to them. And submissive doesn't mean that you are being a slave. Submissive means that you are in consideration of their needs, their wants, and you're willing to do over and beyond for them, because they're going to do over and beyond for you. That's my loose definition of submission, right? Is that you're leading with respect, number one. So you respect the person that you're with. And then number two, when you're doing something for them, whatever it is, if it's cooking for them, if it's, reminding them that, like, hey, they have an appointment, or you're thinking of them when they're hungry, like you're going over and beyond to show that you care. And I think that when we hear submissive, we just hear like, all right, woman, go make my food and I don't want no talk back. Right? So I think that that's what kind of ruffles our feathers when we hear, are you submissive? Well, my question, when my answer when someone would ask me that would be like, yeah, if I respect you, then yeah, I'm going to be submissive. I'm not going to be disrespectful to you. I'm not going to combat everything that you are saying to me. I'm not going to be petty. I'm not going to go back and forth or whatever, because my level of consideration and respect for you allow me to be submissive. But if you don't give me anything to respect, no. Hex fire, no. I'm not being submissive to that. For what? Submissive to what? And then this is the key, right? In order to get respect, there has to be love. So if you're not loving me right, if you're not loving me right, then homie, I'm not submissive to you. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Because again, I see respect and submission kind of hand in hand. So if you're not showing me love, if you're not listening to me, yeah, it's a no. And if I don't respect you and I don't submit to you, then guess what? My options are about to be open. Very much so. About to be open, about to date other people, because you're not it. You're not it. And if you don't believe me, watch me, because I'm going to be gone. So definitely understand the difference of that. Understand what submissive is. Understand what respect is. Understand that love and respect. Without love, there's no respect. With respect, there's love. If you see a woman and she is like straight up and down submissive to her husband, she respects him, she is going over and beyond, he's loving the mess out of her. And I'm not talking about just, the finer things in life or material things. He's loving her, and he's expressing that love to her in such a strong way that her submission and her respect is natural. It's a natural response to his love. So don't forget that. And then, with that being said, if he's loving her like that, he's choosing her every single time. Listen, my favorite couple, mind you, we don't know what these people go through behind closed doors, but my favorite public relationship is Sierra and her man's. Okay? Like, he loves her down. He loves her down, and she respects him. He respects her. He respects her talent. He respects who she is as an artist. He's not over here trying to steal the show. He's not over here hating on her. He is always lifting her up and praising her publicly. Listen, y'all better look at Russell. Because that's a great example of Russell and Sierra is a great example of what, when I submit, when I respect, the love is there. That man is loving her down. I can't say it enough. Like, that's what we should be striving for. And I know their relationship is not perfect. Nobody's is. But when I say you can just see the love radiating off of them, you know, it's inspiring. It really is truly inspiring. And to me, that would be something that I would strive to want to model, like that's the basis. Love, respect. It's right there. Okay? And so when he's choosing you, when you've made it in that relationship and he's choosing you, he is reaffirming to you that he appreciates you, that you and him bring peace together, that you all are emotionally stable together, and you're consistent. You're not faking this. This is not every other week. This is not every other day. This is a solid bond that is is pure. He's not competing with you. He's not trying to control you. Okay? And it's not an act. It's not an act. It's not an act for anybody. It's you all's true love. So, I'm going to end this on this note, and just let y'all know, I hope that your Valentine's was great, and you got to, spend time with those that you love, whether if it was a date with somebody or if it was Galentine's. Hey, do what you got to do. But I think that this is a perfect opportunity to really reevaluate and reflect on the things that you truly want. And if you haven't in the past or recently, make you a vision board. Put a vision board together on the top 3 things that you want to achieve within, you know, 2 to 3, maybe 5 years. Give yourself some room to really be able to explore that, because when it comes to trying to get ourselves ready and be with someone, it's a lot harder than we think. It's not an easy journey, but it's all worth it once you hit that destination. So, until next time, y'all, that's all I have to say about that.